Demi, Joe, the Smurfs' Lost Village, the story about how Smurfette got her name, who she is. It made me wonder, you know, when you look at your names, what do they say about who you are?
What mine says was my mom got a baby book thrown at her and said, pick a name, we're making the birth certificate right now. So I don't really know how meaningful it is. I do like to believe that, that my name, actually my full name is Demetria, and it means goddess of fertility. So that's very interesting.
And you're creative, so it fits you.
Yeah,
creative and
it's
fertile.
a creative name. It fits me. Yeah, I like that.
Well, Joe is the name that my father wished he was named. So that's how I got that. And Manganiello in Italy, it comes from this village called Avellino outside of Naples. And Manganiello is actually the billy club that cops use to hit people with. So it was kind of a trade name where I guess I come from a line of law enforcement. But my grandmother's maiden name was Bonanno, which is criminals from Sicily.
Oh, wow.
So it was a bit of like a Romeo and Juliet thing going on. There is a police officer Smurf.
Yeah, so you could have been that one.
So, but I'm not. So actually, yeah.
You make a great Hefty.
Thanks.
Fantastic Hefty. Demi, did it take you back to your Disney days at all?
It took me back to my Disney days a little bit, you know, playing a role where I know that it's going to inspire children in some way, shape, or form. That was really cool. And it also took me back to my Barney and Friends days.
Yes.
Where
Really young then.
where I was very young, but I knew that that I'd be playing a role for children, and it was exciting for me on Barney and Friends because I watched it at the time when I was a little younger than that.
Mandy, this is something for you. I mean, it's flexing a completely different muscle from what we've seen you as a favorite on Homeland. What kind of experience did you have? And, you know, being from an ensemble cast to now, you know, your own in a booth, recording your voice.
It was just freeing beyond description. The child in you comes out in as my kids used to say, in infinity, you know, and you just get to be silly and serious and heartfelt and do and say anything that comes to your mind. And the fun that comes with that freedom is like nowhere in the business.
There is an integrity and a strength to Mandy that I think really lended it. His voice works with Papa Smurf. And you really get this, you know, there's a little bit of an Atticus Finch in Papa Smurf, and I think Mandy possesses those qualities as well.
And Demi Lovato, I mean, she practically wrote an album about being confident.
Yes, yeah.
So she embodies Smurfette's confidence.
Absolutely, 100%. That was a big part of why I liked the texture in her voice, and there is a strength as well. She's very forward.
What do you think is the key to having something that appeals to children, but the adults can still have fun too?
For me, I never watched the Smurfs or growing up, and so I think what's really cool about this film is it's going to be new to some people, it's going to be familiar to some people, and I think the key to having a film that, you know, can be entertaining to all demographics is not only humor but heart, and that's what this film has a lot of.
They're just very infectious, adorable, fun-loving creatures that you want to have inside your body. So it's a great place to go visit.
Speaking of places to visit, I must just ask you, you spent some time in South Africa. You had a good experience filming.
Extraordinary. Yeah, I filmed Homeland there for 7 months. Extraordinary experience. We made a lot of very dear friends. My wife is writing a play with 2 people from a township, 2 young men, and bringing that experience of a white lady from the Upper West Side of New York to these 2 guys from a township, and what do you talk about? Wow. And so it was an experience that affected our lives deeply.
If you did have Smurf names, what would they be?
Demi Smurf. That's not original at all or creative.
An easy one with that one.
Yeah.
Other than Policeman Smurf, what would yours be?
Multi-hyphenate Smurf. You know, like the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
We're all everything. The jock, the nerd, the basket case. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
The Antwoord Smurf.